October 1st, 2023. News of a bizarre and bad movie watching couple. Recordings, which would have quenched the world's disgust, began to filter out of Central Florida. Regrettably, not one of the members was ever apprehended, and for more than 50 weeks, only bad movie ramblings were heard. Over those weeks, at least 40 minor yet apparently related hot takes were recorded. Then again, another October arrived, and for 5 more weeks, another Pod-o-Ween was upon us, and all hell with it. These are those recordings.
You all painted up for a crackhead, huh? Halloween ain't till mañana.
Just another Pod-o-Ween.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am Scott,
And I'm Joe.
and we're just another movie night, and today we are talking trash.
Talking trash.
Talking trash indeed. This is our show to review, spoil, debate, crap on, and give second chances to the hated, the lowest rated, and the much debated, and often forgotten flicks on the internet, all while asking the question, is this the worst movie ever made? And if not, what is? Because here on the show, we truly believe you can't review films unless you know what the worst is. And that brings us to October. Pod-o-Ween. Third annual Pod-o-Ween. We're back. We're doing it. We're in October, our favorite month. And that means scary movies.
Yeah.
Horror movies.
Well, they're horrifying. I don't know if they're scary. Could be scary in a certain way, I guess, because they're so rotten.
Yeah, and today Joe came up with a whole theme for the month. What are we going to do for Pod-o-Ween? I said. And Joe said, I got it. What if we did franchise? But this time, what if we took the worst movie in every franchise we can think of?
Well, see, the worst movie, no. We're going with the lowest rated.
Okay. Not the worst. Well, it's debatable. We'll talk about it as we go along in the list. But we took the worst rated in every franchise of slasher movies.
Yes.
So slasher horror icons, we have 5 of them this month. And we're going to do the worst listed in each one of those. Or
Yeah.
when I say worst listed, I'm sorry, I said it again. The lowest rated
The lowest
on
rated
IMDb.
on IMDb. So that doesn't mean that we personally believe that they're the worst.
But we'll talk about it.
We will.
Yeah, because there's a lot of hot takes coming,
Oh,
a lot of thoughts, and a lot of beliefs shattered, a lot of mistakes made. Who knows? That's the show, right?
yeah, it's pure chaos a lot of the time.
So
Mostly because of me.
no, mostly because of me getting everything wrong.
No.
Today we are talking with our first movie, our first franchise, and by the way, almost all of these franchises, the slasher icon in that franchise has about 7 films or more. And I guess a perfect way to start, the lowest rated, we're going backwards. This is the lowest rated of all 5 films this month. And we are talking about a movie that's tagline is, if looks could kill, he wouldn't need a chainsaw.
Well, that's funny because he actually doesn't kill anyone in this with a chainsaw.
That's true. We're talking about 1994's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. These are the voyages of the Sawyer family. Their continuing mission to creep out, sicken, to saw out new life and new out-of-towners to boldly go where no one's gone before.
Did you say to saw out? Does that mean to hollow them out?
Yeah, It's the next generation, Joe.
Okay.
It's the
I
next
don't understand
generation.
anything that you said.
I'm kidding around. It's the next generation.
Okay.
They're supposed to play the theme music here.
I get it too, but I'm still stuck on to saw out.
Yeah, to saw out new life.
You mean to hollow them out with like a chainsaw?
Yep.
To like hollow them from
To take a chainsaw and saw them out. Is it the Sawyer family? Am I right on this?
I don't know if this is supposed to be the Sawyer family.
It
is it
is.
the next generation of the Sawyer family? Because is it a new?
Well, we'll talk about it.
Is it a new Leatherface? Because they used to call him Junior. Did they not?
He's had many names, many nicknames.
I got nothing right now. I can't give you any backstory on. There's no rhyme or reason right now.
All right, so we're talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. The Next Generation. It has a 3.3 on IMDb from 26,000 reviewers. It has a 50 on Metacritic, though.
I mean, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Usually when it's like a 3.3 on IMDb, it has a 10 on Metacritic. So no, a 50 this time. It's from the writer, producer, and creator of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The director of this movie, Kim Henkel.
Okay.
The budget was $600,000, and it grossed $185,000.
Okay.
This movie is followed by 5 more films,
Yeah, I know that.
and it stars 2 Oscar winners. Can we just say that again? 2 Oscar winners.
It sounds funny when you're saying it.
Can you name another horror franchise that has a movie in it where it has stars 2 Oscar-winning actors?
Oh
Because
my God.
I'm wondering if this is a thing. I'm wondering if
mean-
there's a possibility that we can do this. I'm sure there is, though, right?
Yeah, if you think about it, there's going to be at least one horror movie in one horror franchise that has an Oscar winner. That's
It's like
started.
Jamie Lee Curtis now has an Oscar.
Yes.
In any of the movies, does Busta Rhymes have an Oscar?
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I mean,
Even
3-6
you could
Mafia
not-
does, Joe.
Oh God, because it's hard out here for a pimp. I'm just saying.
Oh my God, the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis has an Oscar, so I was wondering, does anybody else? Does John Carpenter have an Oscar
I don't know. That's a good question.
for
We should-
music? It doesn't matter. He's not the star, though.
No.
But, I mean, I'm trying to think of another...
I mean, we had Halloween movies where Jennifer Aniston was in there, right? It was,
She doesn't have an Oscar.
no, but I'm saying, but Paul Rudd also was in there. Like good
No
actors.
Oscars. Yeah, but no
But-
Oscar.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm
I'm like, Jamie Lee Curtis
Oh.
does. Does Kevin Bacon have one?
No.
Does Brad Pitt have one?
No.
Does really Kevin Bacon not have an Oscar?
No.
Wow, that's crazy.
But
And
doesn't
Brad Pitt
John
doesn't?
Saxon? Doesn't John Saxon have a
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
But I was thinking that Brad Pitt, George Clooney might.
George Clooney,
George
I think,
Clooney
has
does.
an Oscar. I think
he
does.
has for maybe like writing and directing.
Yeah, I think he does.
I think so too. I feel like Brad Pitt must have one too, but maybe not. Didn't he win for like supporting in anything?
No, I
Wow,
don't
okay.
think so.
Okay.
But if we think about this hard enough, there's going to be somebody.
It was just an interesting thing to think about, like 2 Oscar winners in one movie in a one bad horror film.
Oh, I know I
Oh,
know
come on,
a
give me
horror.
one.
Okay, a horror guy that has an Oscar. Clint Howard.
Hardy! Good humor! Shut up. You're not funny.
Oh wait, no, sorry, that's his brother. That's his brother.
Nice,
Sorry,
nice.
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking Halloween. It would have to be somebody in one of the Jamie Lee Curtis movies, but I can't think of anybody, so I guess not.
No man.
Oh, Donald Pleasance doesn't.
No.
Yeah, right? That's crazy. Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, he has one, doesn't he?
I feel like he has to.
What about Roddy McDowell?
Oh, but no, what's Roddy McDowell in another?
No,
Well, Charlton
who is-
Heston? Are you counting like Planet of the Apes or something?
No, he was in Fright Night.
Yeah, but
I got to think about this, but I
it was
don't
a good-
know.
It was a good thing. Chris Sarandon doesn't.
No.
No. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting thought. You know what's funny is the voice of Chucky does.
Yes, he does. Brad Dourif has an Oscar.
He does have an Oscar, and I don't think anybody we said Chris Sarandon would probably be the only person in that film.
He doesn't. I don't think he has
No.
an Oscar. Nope.
Yeah.
But here we do have 2 Oscar winners. Now let me just say this, okay?
Yeah.
People have to get their start somewhere.
True.
All right. Now, yes, this is not Matthew McConaughey's first movie. He was already in Dazed and Confused before this.
Yes.
But he just has a certain, like, you can't blame this movie or blame him for anything that happens in this movie. Like,
I got a lot of hot takes about the acting in this movie.
I mean, I think he's just having the time of his life. Is really.
I don't know if it's the time of his life.
He's having fun.
I have 2 interesting stories from both Renee Zellweger, who is the other Oscar winner. I have a quote from her. Do you want to hear it?
Okay.
Okay. She said, "It was dangerous. I don't know if any of it was legal. It was a great workout. Running from a guy with a live chainsaw. It's excellent motivation. It was a lot of fun. It was my first role, really. I couldn't believe that somebody was going to trust me with that somebody was going to take this chance on me. I was really grateful. I have no shame about this movie."
You know what? Good on you,
Good on
Renee
her.
Zellweger.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you should have gotten an Academy Award for your performance in this goddamn movie.
We got to talk
I'm
about
going
it.
to tell you, she gets fucking tortured.
It is next friggin' level.
Next level. She gets spit on. She gets beat
McConaughey
on.
and her are, you can see why they go on. And by the way, we have to point out this. In the last Chainsaw Massacre, Viggo Mortensen is the star.
Oh, crap. That's right.
Yep.
Okay,
And
well,
he's an Oscar winner as well.
okay.
right?
We're not talking.
is, right?
I
I
think
believe
he
so
did
now.
for, wasn't it,
For Green Book?
no. Oh, no. Didn't he win for that movie, the history of...
He should, every
no, not
movie. I
History of
cannot believe it
Violence.
wasn't nominated for the was it 33 Lives or whatever it was?
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe he
yes,
wasn't
when he
nominated for that.
saved the
Yeah. That movie
The
was
team,
so good.
yeah.
Every damn thing he does. Also, what's the one Captain Fantastic he did with the Woods?
yeah.
I think that was nominated for something.
Was it?
Everything he does, he should win. I don't know about Green Book though. It's the one movie I haven't seen of his, and it's the one everybody debates, and it's the only one I think won an Oscar.
Okay, so he was nominated for Green Book, Captain Fantastic, and Eastern Promises.
Oh, Eastern
That's the one I was thinking of,
Promises.
Eastern Promises.
So good.
but
History
he,
of Violence too.
He does not have an Academy Award.
That's wild. Wild. He didn't get one for Leatherface, the third Chainsaw Massacre. He didn't get nominated for it.
I wish you'd call me and text. I told you.
I'm sorry, boy. God damn it, I'm sorry. How'd you like to do us the honor of plugging that whore up?
Yes, sir.
Unacceptable.
It was the Screen Actors Guild nomination.
Unacceptable.
It was an MTV Award
Well,
nomination.
Here's the fun fact about McConaughey now. So the story goes that McConaughey was going to leave. He was going to get on his motorcycle and just drive out of town or whatever.
Okay.
And he was offered a role as a guy who shows up on his motorcycle in this movie to pick up the lead actress. That role was dropped from the movie, but when he showed up to audition, I guess, as a last-ditch effort before he left town to try to get a role in a movie, they said, you actually might be good for the main villain.
Oh, wow.
So the guy handed him a spoon and said, I want you to go out there, pretend that spoon's a knife, and scare the hell out of my secretary.
Wow.
McConaughey went out there and scared the living crap out of the secretary. The guy said, that was amazing. Now do me one thing. Pretend that your leg is glitching from a machine part.
Oh, my God.
And he did it. And he said, you got the role. McConaughey also says, I saw two interviews with him, and he said, It was like 115 degrees. It was so hot. They were in a trailer, him and Renee Zellweger, doing crazy stuff that they could not believe that they were able to do together. And then he said that it literally, the fact that anybody gave me that chance to do that movie is wild. And I also don't want that thing. But what's really crazy is both these people, 2 years later, have made huge movies. She made Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
And he made Time to Kill.
I love that movie.
And they were both represented by the same agency. This movie was going to re-release because of their stardom, and their agency sued them. Said, hell no, you're going to go off of their names to do this. They said, you're not releasing this to ruin their careers that they just started building.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? So the agency that was representing them
didn't
and got
want
them
to hurt their careers because they knew they were going on an upward trajectory, and they kind of like shut them down and said, don't put this out now.
Okay.
But it did come out in 97 as a re-release in the theater.
Oh my God. Well, either that talent agency is the smartest or
Yes.
dumbest on the planet, and I'm gonna have to go with smartest
Smartest.
because
That was a brilliant strategy.
what they
on their
did
part.
was they got them jobs on the same movie, on the same ridiculous movie, but then later on they became huge stars.
I don't know if they were working for the agency at that time, but wherever it happened after this movie, they got. I'm guessing that's when they started working for the same agency.
Okay.
And that agency, I mean, apparently got them pretty good, and then shut this movie down from getting re-released just off of their names to kind of tarnish their names. So good on them, because that seemed to work out pretty damn well in their favor.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also going to say the hot take I have is that these two, the movie doesn't deserve what they're doing in this movie.
I agree with that.
It is next level insane to watch.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like she's actually being killed on screen
Yes.
for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like he is losing his freaking mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very believable.
It's 100% believable. And I gotta say, Renee Zellweger, for what she went through in this movie, I really wish that she was paid more. I mean, I don't really know how much she was paid, but I can imagine it's not that much on a $600,000 budget. But
I couldn't find the facts out about this. I do know some more facts that must say that they didn't get paid much.
I don't know what she got paid, but I will say that she was strangled. She had a knife to her throat. She was punched, slapped, spit on, hit by a car,
Looks like thrown out a window at one
thrown
point.
out a window. I just can't. I cannot.
Chased with an actual live chainsaw.
Yeah. Running through muddy, disgusting, filthy water with no shoes on, completely barefoot. I mean, I just cannot imagine what she was feeling during the filming of this movie.
It's wild that they were able to accomplish as much as they were with this thing.
Oh, and can I also add that her whole entire face was licked by another actor in this movie?
Oh,
Like,
and she's put in a
when I
full
tell you-
Nelson and jostled around the room and thrown into a chair.
I mean, thrown repeatedly. I mean, this woman suffered during this, and I don't know at what point, the stunt double came in and Renee Zellweger went out, but either way, she was literally licked and spit on and slapped around. It was just awful.
And she said also, another quote I read was that her the makeup trailer and trailers was just the director's camper. And they had to put makeup on in back of a seat. They had the seat from where you drive as and then they had to look at a mirror on that.
Oh my God.
And they had to put the makeup on. And they were all in the trailer.
Wow.
Yeah. So they said everybody was in this one thing in the middle of this heat. And the area that they filmed was like an abandoned area. And they just filmed at night there. And like they said, they don't think they had any permits.
Oh, wow.
They thought that they were. She said it was, I think, she didn't say guerrilla filmmaking, but she said something close along that lines. Like, and just insane filmmaking.
Wow.
And she was a part of it. And to see her saying good things. We also got to talk about this actress, Lisa Marie Newmeyer. I think that's how you say it. Lisa Marie Newmeyer. She also, I don't know how she wasn't murdered in her scenes.
Is she the friend with the prom dress?
Yes.
Oh my God.
There's a scene where Leatherface himself throws her around that goes on for 10, 15 minutes.
It does.
It just goes on
and she is
on.
whipping. There's no way that she didn't almost snap her own neck. Okay. And then he threw her into an ice chest.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Over and over and over.
Over and over.
Just so you guys get a good visual in your minds as you're listening to us, think about that scene where in Naked Gun, where Lisa Marie Presley is being jostled around the stadium seats, and
That's
it's actually
Priscilla. Priscilla
Oh,
Presley.
I'm so sorry. God, I'm such an idiot. Priscilla Presley is being jostled around the stadium seats as it's going down, and they in the next shot they switch to her
When
as
it's a
being a
blow-up
it's a
doll.
blow up doll, and she's just swinging. She goes, Frank. That's what it looks like here.
That is so true. Like, I mean, Leatherface is a hulking dude, and he just tossed her around like she was just a rag doll. I mean, it was terrible. I felt bad for that actress. She got so hurt. She had to have.
I feel like every actress in this film too. This other actress, Tani. I'm not even gonna pretend I can pronounce.
I think her
names.
name is Tony. It's Tony.
You need to take this job over.
Give me the job. I'll take it.
You have the job.
All right. So,
Pernensky?
okay. So her
Tony
name
Pernensky?
is Tony. It's Tonie, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. She got hurt, and she literally got hurt. Like,
You can see blood.
you can
at one
see
scene.
blood on her elbow at one scene. So I looked it up, and she did get cut when Matthew McConaughey
When did you
threw
find that?
her.
Because I couldn't find facts.
Oh, it's on IMDb.
No shit, I couldn't
Yeah,
find it.
she got cut when Matthew McConaughey threw her on top of the table, and they were like making out, and there was something on the table that cut her arm, and she just acted like it didn't happen and kept on with the scene.
Yeah, you can see it.
You can see the
keeps going
blood.
with it.
Yeah, you can see it dripping down her arm.
And
She's awesome.
She pushes McConaughey off in that scene, and he hits his head on the refrigerator. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy crap.
There's no way that nobody got hurt in this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be so many major injuries on this.
And also, the actor who's playing Robert Jacks, who's playing Leatherface in this, he is also doing the stunts as well. And there's a scene where he runs through a greenhouse glass side of the wall with a running chainsaw. And I could not stop going, oh my God, how is this guy alive? Like, every scene I see him in, I'm like, if that's a real chainsaw, I am so scared for everybody in this movie.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that they were using a real chainsaw. I mean, it's a movie. Can't you get a prop or something? Like, what the hell's wrong with these people?
I mean,
Oh, and the word you were looking for is kamikaze filmmaking.
oh, that's what she said.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that totally makes a lot of sense. Crazy shit that's happening in this movie.
I guess the other fun facts is that a lot of people were asked back from the original movie, and a lot of those people did not come back. Gunnar Hansen, in particular, who was the original Leatherface, was asked to come back, and he said he wanted more money, and they said they couldn't afford his offer, which is insane because what was he doing? Like, Gunnar Hansen is not in that many films. That's odd to me.
Yeah.
And also, one of the other actors was asked back as one of the family members, and he couldn't because of some something else was happening, and he couldn't do the movie because this movie was originally intended to be the sequel, the straight sequel to the original.
Was it?
Yeah, McConaughey's character is supposed to be one of the characters from the original movie.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I know. All of them are supposed to be, but because the people couldn't come back, they changed it up. This kept changing. In fact, the opening now says something along the lines of there were 2 minor incidents that could have been a part of what happened, but nobody really knows, referencing that the last 2 movies might have happened, but they're calling them minor incidents. So they're saying they don't matter.
I'm having a hard time with this because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in 74.
Mm-hmm.
So how is Matthew McConaughey involved with, how would he be involved with that family?
Well, again, before McConaughey was hired, this was supposed to be another actor from the original. Everybody was supposed to come back from the family from the original.
Okay.
And I think originally it was the person who was in the car with them.
Oh, okay.
Was supposed to be the other brother, who is the one that's quoting everything all the time
Yeah.
in this movie. I think he was supposed to be the one in the car. And then there was like another one that was the chef or the cook or whatever it was in the original. And I think he was supposed to be McConaughey.
Okay.
So they were going to have everybody back. That was the original intent. And since no one could do it, they kind of changed the script around, even doing that opening narration joke like I was mentioning. And it changed it up a lot to the point where they said that they're in what they intended going on here. And I do see it. First off, he was talking about how he wrote all of the people, all the teenagers, to be purposely cartoonish teenagers because he was trying to mock like the whole genre of horror movies in this movie. And that I'm shocked about that because the original turned out the way it did. I'm shocked that this was ever going to be some kind of lampooning, which is really odd because the second movie in this franchise is a lampooning of itself. It's one of those rare movies, and there's a bunch of them, where the directors were forced into making a sequel. They made the sequel, but they made a sequel that was telling the studios to go screw themselves. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Gremlins 2 are along those lines of movies where the directors came back and basically were like, we're going to make the most insane thing you can imagine with our movie. And that's what happened. But here we are again, where the original side creator, producer, and writer and of these characters with Tobe Hooper in the original is back directing and saying this movie is kind of like a whole lampooning again. Now, I don't know if this is one of those things, but I definitely think it is true because we have an odd thing that happens in this movie. And I guess, I don't know, should we talk about the plot and get to it, or should we just get into it and talk about what I'm talking about?
No, I mean, let's just basically let's start the plot. I mean, it's 4 kids, Renee Zellweger, her friend, and the 2 boyfriends, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, no, yeah, kind of. It actually starts out with the weirdest. A bunch of characters just show up and say lines, one of which I can swear is Harlan Williams, but he does not get credited at all in this movie. I don't know why he's not on the credits.
I don't know.
But it's clearly him.
It looked like him from the side view.
They show his face straight on in the first shot.
Oh,
and I went, that's Harlan Williams.
I didn't pinpoint that. I feel like he would have been too young, but then again, what do I know?
I mean, McConaughey, I think they're around the same age. I would, if I had to guess.
We should have watched the credits.
They're not on there. They're not listed on IMDb either. There's a lot of random things. And
wow.
We actually get a woman coming out of the prom who's looking for her date. And this is one of our main 4 main kids in the opening here. But another girl comes out. Now, what can we talk about this girl? What was going on with this girl? The random girl that comes out and is doing some kind of weird stuttering performance or some kind of, maybe she's on acid. I don't know what this is.
I don't even know how these 2, first of all, these 2 weren't even like,
they don't seem to know each other.
They don't know. No, they weren't in a scene together. They don't know each other. There's nothing to establish the 2 of these girls like as friends or anything. But the one main character was having a conversation with one of the teachers, and this girl comes up behind her and starts twitching and tweaking out. And I'm like, I asked you, I'm like, what is happening to her? Is she having a mental like episode or some kind of like medical emergency?
And it's not like it's a side background extra. She has a whole dialogue thing written for her. And she actually is the main shot of the scene where she takes the other girl and says, come over here. Come over here. I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
Don't listen to her.
I was like,
don't listen to her.
What is going on?
I don't know what this was.
She's doing it again. She just does that to make trouble, okay? It's obvious. It is so obvious.
What are you talking
Painfully
about?
obvious. Don't even listen to a word she says. She's just trying to make trouble. All that, it's just, she's such a bitch.
I don't know if this is some kind of in-joke or some kind of comical beat. It is very odd. And it is like, it sets the tone for the movie, though.
Yeah, but I was baffled. I was like, wait a minute. Did they cut something out that we were supposed to know? Like, why is this girl tweaking out? Like,
Yeah.
it was weird. And then they never show her again.
The
So
s-
it was just
they
so
never show it again.
useless.
The same thing goes with the people outside. Our first people that we see are a bunch of guys. One guy pisses off another guy, and they run after each other.
Yeah.
And that's what Harlan Williams, I think, is one of those guys. And then another random guy comes over and starts talking, and he has a whole thing where he's like, "Oh, you guys having a good time? Is everybody having a good time?" Then he goes, "Fucking hate kids." Although he is a kid.
We've been waiting. The wedding's going on inside. We need to put you on the top tier. Don't mind the footprints in the icing. I'm excited. They look good. It's like a vest thing. I fucking hate kids.
He's one of the teens.
It's so weird because, like, you know how, like, all like the gym teachers and stuff, like back then in the 80s and 90s, they look like aging rock stars.
That could be.
So I feel like that was one of the teachers. But either way, I
He's
thought that
drinking, too.
he's drinking.
So was the other woman.
Yes, I thought they were trying to set up like these are going to be our characters, our core group.
Yeah.
But no, it was just randoms. It was just random people.
Yeah.
So Heather comes out looking for her boyfriend, and she catches him making out with another chick.
But I love that she's saying his name so loud.
Barry.
Over and over and over.
Barry.
And he's right behind a pillar making out with another girl.
And he doesn't hear her.
Has anybody seen Barry?
And, like, literally.
And she's wearing...
Barry.
Did you notice this too? I think that all the girls are wearing bow ties. This girl is. She's wearing a blue bow tie.
The
I
one
can
that
swear
Barry's
the other girl
making
was
out
too.
with?
Yes. I could
Okay.
swear the one that was stuttering or whatever she was doing
Maybe.
was
I
also
don't
wearing a
know.
bow tie. And I was like, what is happening with the bow ties? I don't even know. Well, it doesn't matter because she finds Barry and he is making out with another woman. The other woman says, you can go after her if you want, if that's the thing you want.
Okay, can we talk about Barry for a moment? We need to talk about Barry. First of all, he looks 40. He was at a high school prom.
Yep.
But I want to tell you what a terrible piece of shit this guy is.
Okay, when I was saying that this movie might have been written, he was doing some kind of commentary or satire on kids and kid movies, or like teens and teen movies. Yeah, this character is one walking, and so is she. The girlfriend.
She is. She's like the ditzy person that
kind of.
I mean, no matter what he says, she's on board with him.
It's true, it is my fault. I want to have sex with him.
That doesn't make it your fault.
Yeah, but what if he gets cancer and all his hair falls out from all the drugs or something? And it could happen.
Yeah, Jenny, so just shut up, all right?
Still.
She's on board with it because she says, and she has it in her own words, says, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
She admits it, like straight up. I'm just a piece of shit.
Like, basically, I deserve you because you're also a piece of shit. But he's the worst. He's absolutely the worst. I mean, first of all, she gets pissed off, Heather, and jumps in the car and leaves him, which causes him to run after her as she's driving away out of the parking lot. He jumps in the car, and then we find out that
after a good couple minutes of conversation between these two characters.
Yeah, they're having an argument, and she's like, "You're an asshole."
This is his car.
Yeah, it's his car. She's like, "You're an asshole. You were making out with another girl," and he's just like, "Oh, well, it was nothing."
He's like, "I barely touched
her." And then 5 minutes into the conversation of them arguing and bickering back and forth,
speeding all over the road,
speeding and like tons of skidding out of the tires, we find out up pops Renee Zellweger and her date. They're in the back seat.
And now you would assume that they were back there down low having sex or something. But they're not. We're just told that they're good friends. They're not even together.
Then why were they hiding in the back of their car?
I love this goes on for a bit too before the main character, the guy whose car it is, says, "You guys were back there smoking pot, I bet."
By the way, I know what you're doing in my car. You're getting stoned. If my dad smells the shit tomorrow, I'm going to kick your ass.
So it was like they forced in a line of dialogue because how do we explain why they're back there?
Yeah, we don't get any explanation of that, number one. But we do know that they are fully clothed, and we do find out that Renee Zellweger is kind of like a prude. So she's kind of like a bashful girl.
I did mess up one thing because this movie actually does open with her putting lipstick on and getting ready for the prom.
Mm-hmm.
and we hear people fighting in her house. That sounds like a man and a woman fighting in the house that she's putting the makeup on, and she gets frustrated and she runs out.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the establishment there, because they constantly keep talking about why Renee Zellweger is the way she is, and apparently there was an entire thing dropped out of the movie.
Here's audio from a clip in the movie that was deleted.
Get out of my room.
What are you afraid of, huh? All I'm asking you is to be a nice girl. No big deal, huh?
Even if you weren't a slime ball, aren't you forgetting that you're married to my mother?
You shut your damn mouth. I think you want it.
Mother!
Who the fuck do you think she's gonna believe anyway, huh? Shit, either way, you fucking lose, bitch.
Jenny? Jenny?
Damn word out of your mouth. Help me God, I'm divorced, bitch. That's what you want, honey bunny. Have at it. Huh? If you know what's good for you, keep your pretty damn mouth shut.
Jenny? No, Mom, it's okay. Never mind. You sure? Yeah.
Shit, what do you need, a sworn affidavit? God,
No, I just
I
thought...
don't think. You're too damn stupid to think.
Jack... Oh, that must be Sean.
Hey, answer the goddamn door.
Oh.
About how, and the characters do mention that she is abused. The other girl, by the way, the girl driving this car, they're not friends.
I mean, it doesn't seem like they are.
They're not friends, and the two guys are also not friends. And the other guy makes a mention of how, in fact, he thinks the guy whose car it is an asshole, and he used to be friends with him when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
So why they're in that car is beyond me.
Why are you even going to prom together? Like, why are you all four in the same vehicle going to prom together?
They weren't going to prom together. They just broke into his car to smoke pot.
Is that right?
That's what this character says. I bet you broke into my car to smoke pot.
Oh my God.
They don't like each other. The four of these people do not get along. Why they chose this car is beyond me. At least establish that they were trying to get him in trouble.
Why choose a car?
I don't understand it.
Okay,
Especially since all the teachers are drinking. Who gives a shit?
It's worse that they weren't even friends and they didn't go to prom together. See, I thought at least they were in the car
they're not
because
friends.
they went to prom together.
In fact, you know how we know they're not friends? Because the guy whose car it is, he goes out of his way to insult Renee Zellweger multiple times.
You can't get cancer from not having sex.
Oh, right. Like you'd know. Never a date in your life, you're so ugly.
What a schmuck.
What's your problem, Jenny? Just because you hate guys.
He's just trying to change the subject.
What are you afraid of? That they might try to fuck you?
No.
It's not like it's a big secret.
What?
Ask anybody. You never go to parties, you never go anywhere unless you're with Sean. Everybody knows that he's a little pothead and all you are is friends.
Yeah, he calls her ugly, calls her a dog.
Yeah, and the guy
terrible.
never says anything in her defense. So that's when we got, is he not with her? And they were like, okay, they're just friends?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know. It's so bizarre. Well, what happens next is even more bizarre because they end up, the four of them in the car end up speeding down the roadway, and she's driving, Heather.
She's flooring it the
Flooring
entire
it.
conversation.
And they get into an accident.
Well, they
with
almost hit
another
the
fucking car.
They actually hit the family truckster, and then they drive
And
off.
they drive off
And
like nothing happened.
The girl driving the car just a little bit later, because she's driving around, and they're full having exposition dumps on each other.
Yeah.
The four characters just are dropping exposition. None of it really matters to the story.
Nope.
Whatsoever.
Nope.
But she just mentions,
Wait. I just thought of something so cool. What if we got into a wreck and we crashed into a car in front of us and we all died? They could write a song about it.
Shut up.
Okay, first of all, let's just establish right now that the two people you're discussing, Heather and Barry.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't, but Barry is like the worst.
Barry is written and acted hilariously. It is off-putting. Nobody is likable. I don't know what the thought process was, but it is kind of funny. It is kind of funny because it is so weird. But they go down the street, and of course, because she's driving like a lunatic, and it's not stopping, and she gets into another accident with a guy who drives his car, what I would say is right out of the trees.
I mean, okay, why are they on a dirt road in the backwoods? What's going on? How did they get there? Why are they there? Like, she drove off the highway for what reasoning?
And now I'm a little mad because the actor who's in this car, I could swear it's the actor from Children of the Corn.
It's Courtney Gaines.
But it is not listed. This person doesn't even seem to exist. He's only done this movie. But if you tell me I had to choose who this is, that's who this is.
I was thinking the same.
We just met him, and I really wish we could have asked him, were you in Chainsaw Massacre by any chance?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it had to be him. He is actually only listed as guy that faints.
But he didn't faint.
He does faint right after this.
He literally passed out in the car.
Oh,
he was hurt.
It's not guy that faints. It's guy who's not hurt.
What? Guy who's not hurt?
Something like that. It's a
good
joke
Lord.
because he's like, I'm not hurt. And he passes out.
Oh, God.
I think that's his only line of dialogue.
I feel like that was him because, I mean, I know his face.
I do too.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's really odd. There's even a name of the person who it is. So I don't know if it's a fake name or why would he put a pseudonym. So, yeah, they get hit by this car. They get out. This guy comes out of his car and says, I'm not hurt, passes out. So now they're freaking out and they're trying to find a way. So they have to walk down the street and they leave the one Renee Zellweger's date with this guy. And they walk down the road, the other three, and they come upon a real estate office that is in a trailer park.
It's so weird. Okay, first of all, I don't believe that this real estate office is in a trailer park because there's literally a gas station across the street from it.
Yeah, but you can see that it is a trailer.
I mean,
it's in a trailer.
The building is like
It's
one of those
yeah.
like manufactured buildings. Yeah, like a, what do you call it? It's a trailer. So
the character here is Darla.
Darla,
and she is what she says is the secretary for a real estate
agency.
Yeah, and apparently she says the guy's name that she works for a ton.
Yeah, they run in there and they're
might also be her
her
husband, by the way.
That's
that's
true
questionable too.
Yeah, because later we find out she's married. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But so they go in there for help, and I'm thinking, okay, there's no way that this lady's involved with that family.
I know, exactly. This is a Chainsaw Massacre film. Well, the reason I brought up that the girl said, what if we all got killed in a car crash and they wrote songs about us? And I said, the moment they said that in the movie, I thought, oh, they all died in this car crash. And anything that happens after it is some kind of weird delusion.
Oh my God. I know.
There is an argument there that might actually say that's true, because the end of this movie, I don't know what's happening. Like I have thoughts, but we're going to get there as we keep going along. But I just wanted to put it out there that maybe they are all dead, because characters start giving exposition. Like the one girl tells the other guy, the two dates, she tells him that because he keeps talking about Zellweger as being like ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is left with the real estate person, and they go walk off to go find another house down the block.
Which is so weird because there's literally a gas station across the street.
And
so
the woman says, "Don't go over there. That guy's a crazy bastard. He'll do crazy things to you." And then so they go up the block and they go to the chainsaw house. Like the main house.
It's amazing.
But while they're walking, he's like talking crap about Zellweger again and how ugly she is. And the other girl has to tell her, no, she's real hot. But I think that her stepfathers molest her. And that's why she acts and looks the way she does. And I'm like, okay, so I was trying to talk about it before, but we keep getting so many things to talk about in this movie. But they did cut a plot out where she is abused. And the reason that Renee Zellweger is acting so calmly sometimes about some of the violence or the things that are happening to other people around her is because she is so desensitized. So she was told her character is desensitized to violence. And that's why she's so calm a lot of the times that people are being hurt around her.
Okay.
Because they said that she is so abused. I know, and they said that there's a whole plot line they dropped out of it to explain that, but that is why she is doing what she's doing in this movie.
And that's ridiculous, first of all, because when you take one look at Leatherface, all of that, you're not going to be calm.
Well, she screams, but it's the other people when they're getting hurt. She's like, "What are you going to do to her?
Yeah.
Are you going to hurt her?
Are you going to hurt her? Or no, it's mostly this. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt her.
Why do you want to do this?
Are you going to hurt her?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
It's odd, and it is like mousy and strange, but the rest of it is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two go down the street, and when they go down the street, they find that house. So each kind of group has a thing happen to them now, because at the same time as that, the guy who's waiting with the car and the guy passed out, McConaughey shows up and just instantly kills the guy that's knocked out.
Yeah, so the date, I don't know what his name was.
It doesn't matter because he's killed instantly too.
Instantaneously.
He actually, I mean, this is one of those off-putting things, and it's the reason that people hate this movie so much, is that this character also just goes, "Oh no," and runs, and then runs out of breath halfway down the street, gives up, and then begs for his life. And the way he does it is going, "Hey, don't kill me, all right? Like, I'll do anything." Mm-hmm. That's how he talks to a guy he just saw murder somebody in front of him. And McConaughey is scary, and he is driving a pickup truck, like an actual.
It's a tow truck.
So you're thinking, I would never stop running.
I would never stop running.
I would actually
ever.
Where you can't drive. He keeps driving, running in a straight line down the street.
Yeah.
Like, I would be in the trees.
I mean, yeah, there's no way I would ever stop running, ever. But, I mean, so the date gets killed. The poor guy in the other car just gets his neck snapped. And now we're here with Barry and Heather at the chainsaw house, which is funny because we're calling it the chainsaw house. I don't recall what happens to Barry.
Yeah. This is hilarious.
I wanted to see it.
They get separated because she goes and sits on the porch while he goes and investigates to find somebody to ask, because he has to take a piss. So he walks around the house while she's sitting on the stoop, and Leatherface comes out, and Leatherface is playing with her hair, and she thinks it's a bug until she finally realizes it's him. And this is where the crazy jostling of her, the pulling through her into the house, screaming for 10 minutes, and we see that Barry hears it, but at the same time, he's held hostage with a shotgun by the other brother, who does a lot of quoting of famous authors or politicians, and that's his thing, I guess. Well, he holds him there, and the whole time Barry's like, "Hey, man, like, calm down. My father is important." It's like very off, but he's not even concerned. He keeps going, "That's my girlfriend. I hear her," and when we're talking about hear her,
she's screaming at the top of her lungs.
Bloody murder.
When she sees Leatherface for the first time, she's screaming at the top of her lungs. Now, can I just talk about Barry's reaction? Now, first of all, I already hate the shit out of this character. He's such a fucker, okay? He's such a bastard. And he has literally no reaction to her screaming in like a blood-curdling scream.
When he finally gets in the house and locks the other brother out of his own house, he goes, "Yeah, that's right. Anyways, what's her name again?"
Heather.
Heather, are you right? Heather, are you in here? Anyways, I gotta take a piss.
Okay.
He literally goes and finds a bathroom to take a piss in, instead of finding his girlfriend who's screaming bloody murder.
So we know that Leatherface threw Heather into like an ice chest, okay? Yeah. After all the jostling. But can we talk about Barry roaming this house? Now, first of all, if you walk into this house, you automatically smell death, okay? This house is disgusting. It's just disgusting. He goes into the bathroom where there is not only a full-bodied, like, skin of a woman hanging on the back of the door, but there's a rotting corpse in the tub.
Bathtub, yeah. And he takes it like any man has ever taken walking into a gas station bathroom. Like, okay, that's normal. It's disgusting, but I got to move on because I have to take a pee. And when he's taking a pee, he's looking around just like anybody would at all the terrible things in the thing. But he's looking at it like, yeah, that's how we are.
He's completely
there's some writing on the wall
unmoved.
here. There's a big dick on the wall. Oh, there's poop on the floor. Oh, okay, this is normal. And then
There's
he
a skin bag on the back of the door.
Yeah, he's looking at what I would say is a bucket full of rib cages. I don't know what is on the side of that toilet, but he finally turns around and then realizes, oh, there's a rotting corpse in the bathtub. Oh my God. And we're like, how did you not? I would smell that a mile away.
Yeah, you can smell it in the next county.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like, that's why I thought when we entered this scene with Barry in the bathroom and the skin bag hanging on the door and all that, I was like, okay, this is a comedy. It's a comedy.
It's not, I wouldn't say any of it's played for laughs. Everything is played straight, but it is bizarre.
It's so comical, but like I can't get my head around the fact that did they really think that this actor, like what kind of directing are you giving this guy? Like what kind of direction are you giving this guy?
They're like you're a douchebag, go.
Yeah, you're a douchebag. So just nonchalantly walk into a bathroom of death and act like nothing's happened. Oh, okay, well that's the thing. Oh, that's a little strange. There's a skin bag hanging there with breasts on it. That's normal behavior for this family who I've just stumbled upon and they put a gun on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just heard a blood-curdling scream from my girlfriend from who knows where, and I can't find her, and this house is disgusting. I don't know. Maybe I should act some kind of way.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, not. Barry is knocked out and put into the chest, which she's in, the cooler. And she's taken out and put on a meat hook.
Okay, but do we see what happens to Barry after that? Because I don't recall.
No, because she's also off the meat hook later on. And we don't really know how she got off the meat hook. I feel like there was a scene with Barry that got cut out.
I feel like that too, because
like he got her off the meat hook, but
she
she never references him.
Can I just talk about Heather for a moment?
Yeah, she goes through some stuff.
Okay. Not only does this woman suffer severe, like, cervical spinal damage, okay, but she has a meat hook through her back, which literally goes through her lung. There's no way she would make this out alive.
Yeah,
she makes this movie until the last 5 minutes or so of this movie. She's
also set on fire at one point, still surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they step on her head, and I mean, I can't tell you what these actresses have gone through.
It's wild.
baffling.
And I love later on when Zellweger's just trying to get her off the floor, and she's like, "Just let me nap."
Yeah, just leave me here.
In my own puddle of blood, I'm on here.
Just leave me here. I'm fine. It's crazy.
It's crazy what the character goes through, but it's almost like it doesn't even matter. It's always like background noise. Everything in this movie is like background noise. It's so strange. But Zellweger goes on her own journey because she goes down the block to find the 2 cars and her friend that she left behind, and she sees that the cars are missing, but she runs into Matthew McConaughey in his tow truck.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get yourself on.
Welcome to my world.
I don't know if you noticed this too, and I think other people asked the people who worked on this film, what's with all the Illuminati stuff? Because his car says Illuminati all over it.
What, on the outside of the truck?
Yeah, the doors are Illuminati tow trucking or something like that. And everybody's like, what is going on? And he had, the producer guy, he had some weird comments about it that felt just as odd to the movie. And I had to look it up because I'm like, we're going to get into it more. But there's some weird shit with him. I don't even know what the hell's going on. But he is so odd to Zellweger.
It's weird because, like, he's almost trying to be helpful by telling her, I'll help you, I'll give you a ride and whatever. And she's combative. She's like, no, I don't want to get in. And he literally says, get in the truck.
Starts driving.
And starts driving. And she gets in the fucking truck.
And then he goes, you really shouldn't get in trucks.
Stop, you're scaring me.
Scaring you? You're not scared. You don't know shit about being scared, little girl. Not yet. You want scared? You want scared? Have a look behind you. Have a look. Yeah, how about that, huh? Look again, goddammit. Go ahead, look again.
I think I want you to stop and let me out.
You think? Or do you know? Huh? Go ahead and have a look. You better look.
No.
You don't want to look?
No.
What's your goddamn problem?
Okay. If you stop, I'll look.
You want it to stop?
Stop it! Ow!
Come on. Get have a look at that.
Ow!
Have a look at that.
Ow!
Look at that. How about that?
Stop!
Who's that? Who's that?
Oh, God.
Yeah, of course you gotta throw in a little something extra. Just let them know it ain't Saturday morning cartoons, if you know what I mean.
With strangers.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, first of all, that's dumb thing number one that she did. Because I'm like, she does a lot of dumb shit through this movie. A lot. I've never ever seen a movie that the main protagonist gets caught this many times.
That's a thing too. That's what made me think like the rest of the world seems to disappear in certain scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels odd, like she's trapped in a circle.
Yeah.
It's so strange with her. Yeah.
It's so weird. So repeatedly throughout this movie, she gets away and then gets dragged back in. Gets away and gets dragged back in. And it's funny because Leatherface, you would think would just take her out. Like they go through so much. Like she fights back. You know, she jumps out windows. She's trying to get away. But you would think that they would kill her because she's such a pain in the ass. You know, like the other girl, Heather, they kill her, or they try to, like many times. They incapacitate her, but they don't once incapacitate Renee Zellweger. They always give her an open door to get out somehow. And then they pull her back in.
Yeah.
It's just, this game of cat and mouse was getting a little much for me because I was like, okay, I've had enough of this. Now, Matthew McConaughey, they make a point to tell us that he has a mechanical leg. That actually comes into the plot to help her. It's just repetitive. She's running from Matthew McConaughey. She gets taken back. She actually gets into the crazy girlfriend's car that she's the real estate agent. She's actually doing Matthew McConaughey. She's crazy as fuck too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. She gets in the house, and we see the madness of the house. Then we get the moving on because she escapes, and the way that she escapes the house to go to the real estate person. That's the scene where we were talking about with the Leatherface chases her onto a roof.
Yeah, I mean, she gets fucked up. It's crazy.
It's and knowing that some of the chainsaw stuff is real, it made me wonder about some of the guns.
Yeah,
because she does find a guy who seems like a stuffed police officer in the attic, and has a gun. And she takes it, and she fires it, and points it at all the actors. I kept thinking, man, I'm scared for everybody in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she does finally escape. She actually jumps out of a window, lands on the roof, climbs onto a antenna, and then climbs onto what seems to be a power line. Where you said, how is she not dying?
Okay, that's a power line. She jumped onto a power line. Like, she would have died instantly. It was this, the things that this chick survives in this movie. And then finally, you know, we see the friend die. She gets set on fire, and Matthew McConaughey squeezes her head, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But the way she reacts to that, Renee Zellweger, like, just completely not affected. Like, oh no.
And that happens so later in the film. That's at the end of the film. But there is like hours of abuse that she goes through from that.
Ridiculous. Like, you feel like she's there for 3 days.
Yeah, and like you said, we find out all this crazy stuff because she runs to the real estate person. The real estate person puts her in a trunk. There's a whole scene where the real estate person goes to get pizza, because in this version they're not cannibals. They eat pizza, and one of them actually has vegetarian pizza.
Oh, it's amazing.
So I don't know if all of this is in jokes. All of this is some kind of weird meta humor, and it's odd because the McConaughey stuff is so wild that when she gets back to the house, like you said, they killed the friend in front of her. He also seemingly kills his brother. He hits him in the head with a hammer.
Does he kill him?
That guy never comes back.
So there's this scene around the dinner table where they're about to eat the pizza. Now there are 4 corpses sitting at this dinner table.
They have corpses there and their grandfather.
Okay, the
who we know has
grandfather.
always been alive.
I thought the grandfather was also a corpse, and he just woke up
He
and
was
started
alive in the other
walking
one, too.
around. It totally like jolted me.
I love that he stood up with the butcher knife and grabs
He
a knife and
did.
then walks off like he's going to do something,
Yeah.
but he never shows up again.
Oh my god! When he opened his eyes, I'm like, this motherfucker's alive. Like they all look like they were corpses. They were literally green. First of all, he was like, completely pasty. But I literally thought that all 4 of them were dead, which now we know that 3 of them were actually dead.
Maybe.
But
They're real people. None of them are fake bodies.
No, none of them were fake bodies.
Yeah.
No, because you can see that they were breathing. I
moving, yeah.
looked. But like, I did not at all see the grandfather moving. And I was like, when he opened his eyes, I was like, holy shit.
Well, that was the thing in the first one. The grandfather hitting her in the head with the hammer.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be something else. But he literally got up and left the scene.
Yeah, that's what I thought when McConaughey hit his brother and he picked up the knife and walked out. I thought he was going to kill McConaughey, but he just disappears from the scene.
Yeah, he's just gone. I'm like, okay, thanks,
the grandfather's
Grandpa.
gone. Yeah, he's gone.
Thanks for stopping by.
I guess he was sick of that shit and just left.
He came back from the dead for 2 seconds and walked away.
There's a plot here that McConaughey thinks that the government is in the walls and that his character, I guess this goes to that Illuminati thing, that he thinks that they're mind controlling them and that they have he knows that the FBI is in everything and listening, and that this is all predetermined, and that the girlfriend believes that she has a bomb in her head put by McConaughey and that he'll blow it up if she leaves him. So when they are romantic, their romance is beating the ever-loving crap out of each other in the scenes.
It's so crazy.
And here, what's interesting too is they're playing around with Leatherface a little bit. Leatherface in this movie is more of I would say, metaphor for transgender stuff. Like, he is more about dressing in drag and putting on faces to become other people.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's wearing the particular face, which is a woman's, he is being more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really weird what they're doing with him in this one. He is less of the force of fear.
Like the hulking menace.
And this he starts screaming and breaking down and yelping a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And when women tell him to shut up and sit down, he does.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's all on McConaughey to be the scare. So it's just, when we say scare, it's not scary. It's like
He's
watching
unhinged.
physical abuse being thrown to you. And that's what it is. And that is so intense that it makes you feel awkward.
It does. And like the 3 of them, it's Renee Zellweger, the real estate agent girlfriend, and Matthew McConaughey just slapping the shit out of each other repeatedly.
Yeah.
And you just feel like really just taken aback.
And Leatherface screaming.
And
during
he's
it all.
screaming.
And it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, so it goes on with the torture of Renee Zellweger for a bit. But then some strange man arrives. Can you explain this to me?
Okay, so now this is where I wanted to get to in the beginning, where I was like, do we talk about the movie or do we just get into this? Because this is where I don't know. I had to look this up. Is this director commentary? Actual director commentary put into the film? Because this is an odd moment. Now, I wish this was played by the actual director and writer, because that would have been more intriguing, because he comes in the house and does say that this has got to stop. Like, this, everything that's happening has to stop. Like,
Okay.
you're not doing what I told you to do.
This is appalling. You are here for one reason, and one reason only. Do you understand that? I want to hear you say you understand that. No? It's very simple. I want these people to know the meaning of horror. Horror. Is that clear? You don't want to be a silly boy. Is that clear?
Fucking A it is.
this guy comes in with, he's like almost like a mob boss looking thing.
He's got
and
like
even
a
has
driver.
henchman.
Yeah.
The only odd thing, if this is what that is he licks
Renee
Jenny,
Zellweger.
or I think her name is Jenny, her face.
Yeah. Oh, so gross.
And it's really odd, and it doesn't make sense, but he's virtually telling him, you're here to be scary.
Okay.
And I was wondering if this is like meta commentary on what the original movie was intending, and what this movie is intending. Is this an actual moment where like a director comes in to tell him, stop doing the crazy stuff and get back to the horror?
I just feel like it's so off-putting. Like it's so
abrupt,
like,
and so odd.
It is odd. Like it's an odd thing to put in the movie at that moment. Like we're supposed to automatically know who he is? No.
I don't know, and they don't really.
They don't say
us,
nothing.
But they're referencing that he works for him.
Okay, and also,
and that he is. It's like the director telling the actor, stop messing around.
I get that, but
it's so weird.
It's very strange. It's a very strange choice.
McConaughey controls his leg with remote controls, TV remotes.
It's so funny.
Which I don't know is also a commentary, because he's trying to control himself with a controller, and this was kind of like a straight to video. And I'm like, are they making references to horror movies? Is this like some kind of weird mocking? And is that why he wrote the teenagers the way that he wrote them? And how weird everything is in the movie?
But I feel like that's a stretch.
It can't be, because what is this otherwise?
Yeah,
why would they have mechanized parts?
There's no reason.
I feel like they're using some kind of message in the vein of Videodrome.
Oh.
Which in Videodrome, he's becoming the consumer thing. Like, he is becoming the TV. The gun is becoming him. The things that we're selling and
I get it, but that's a little bit too extra for me in a movie like this.
It's very strange, and when it comes, it is like, I can't believe this just showed up.
Yeah,
and it changes the movie.
Silly. It did change the movie.
And the movie takes a whole nother turn, because this is the end of the movie, where Zellweger runs out again. She gets chased because McConaughey screams, Leatherface, get her!
Get her, Leather! Get her, Leather! We got some more fun today! Boomer! Get that bitch! Go!
And he is now flying an airplane?
No.
Who's flying the airplane?
I don't know. Okay, that's another thing we need to discuss here, okay? So she's running, and she stumbles upon a couple driving a Winnebago.
Yeah, is his name Mr. Scott?
No.
Something close to
it's
it, right?
It's weird. It's something like that.
Thank you, Mrs. Spotty.
It's a beautiful morning.
But it's an old couple drinking their little daiquiris, driving this Winnebago, and Renee Zellweger's banging on the door as she's running around on the side of the vehicle, help me, help me. And then the couple sees Leatherface chasing her, and they grab her up and they take her inside the Winnebago.
I wish you would say it better, because they're acting like, honey, don't pick her up. Don't open the door. There's a man with a chainsaw out
Yeah, they did say that, and then she's like, the little woman's like, oh no, she's going to get hurt. He's trying to hurt her.
There's a monster chasing her with a chainsaw.
So she opens the door and drags her in, okay? Fine. So Leatherface is chasing the Winnebago.
But there's also a plane chasing them.
But then you see a yellow plane flying around, a small yellow plane flying around, and then the plane swoops down and hits Matthew McConaughey in the face with the wheels. Like, why would this guy be flying this plane anywhere in this area, and why would he purposely fly it into McConaughey? I don't understand.
And you have no thoughts about what was happening?
No, I don't. Matthew McConaughey dies. He gets hit with the wheels of the plane and dies. And Leatherface starts going batshit crazy and screaming and carrying on. And then he runs away.
Yeah, and we should point out, we forgot too, the way that Jenny got away from the house in the first place is that she took over the remote controls and is now controlling McConaughey.
Yeah, his leg is not
goes
working.
to that whole thing again, her taking over control of him
I
through a
mean,
remote.
I'm baffled by this. I don't understand the ending of this movie.
The RV does flip over. I remember this.
Yes, the RV flips over and she gets out. I'm having trouble. I don't know who the guy in the airline pilot is. The plane pilot. I have no idea.
Okay, even online in the description of what's happening in the scene, it doesn't say. It just says the plane swoops down and hits him.
Now, is this some random guy that's flying around that area and sees that a girl's getting chased and
tries to help?
Okay. So
that makes Leatherface give up in tears from chasing them. McConaughey's dead on the floor.
Yeah, and
then we just cut to her in the police station in the hospital.
No, well, she gets in the limousine.
Oh, the limousine
weirdo.
picks up, and he says something, right? Doesn't he say?
Oh, no. You have nothing to fear. Rien à craindre. Would you like to go to the local hospital? Or to a police station?
She ends up at the hospital, and the cop is talking to her, and then on a gurney.
He says something. No, the guy in the limousine says, "I'm sorry, your journey was supposed to be spiritual."
Yeah, I don't understand that. None of this makes sense. So he takes her to the hospital, but then on a gurney, she's getting questioned by the cop, and then a girl goes by on a hospital bed.
So I told you that.
And I'm like, who the fuck is this? She's just staring at Renee Zellweger.
So the police officer that's talking to her and says, "Sorry," he virtually says, "Sorry, this happens sometimes."
Yeah.
And then he is the actor from the original movie that played the original grandfather. And then two people go by, one as a woman being pushed. The guy who's pushing the gurney is the brother in the wheelchair in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the girl on the gurney is the original actress from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh my God.
Who played Sally. And she's staring at her, and she's looking at her. And we just see her being pushed, and it turns to the sunset.
I don't understand.
And that's the end of the movie. And I that's why I said, was she dead the whole time? Did they get in a car accident? Because I don't have any other explanation of why the characters from the original are looking at the characters of the next generation.
I got nothing. I mean, especially since this is 1995.
Yeah.
And we're how many years later from the original? And then there's also movies there in between. So why would they do that on this particular movie if they're going to bring back the original people? And I don't think that was the original actress. No, right?
It is.
She looked exactly the same as she did in 74.
Both the brother and the sister, that is in that scene, they both passed away very early.
Marilyn Burns?
They couldn't come back when they brought her back into the newer Chainsaw Massacre. They had to replace her because she had passed away.
She passed away in 2014.
Yeah.
Marilyn Burns. But I'm in shock. I don't understand. I feel like I'm supposed to understand this ending. I don't. I feel like I'm supposed to understand the guy with the weird butler. I don't understand him.
And if he's saying to her, you were supposed to be on a spiritual journey, and I'm sorry because Vilmer, who McConaughey was playing, needed to be taken out. It feels like, is this some kind of purgatory scenario? Because was this some kind of lesson, or was this some kind of weird? I just don't know. I don't know what this is, and it feels like it's supposed to be studied and talked about.
Yeah.
But I have no clue, because this is one of those movies that is just hated. So nobody even references any of this oddity that's happening in the scene.
I mean, I understand why it's hated, because there's so much in it that has you going, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I think this is another funny thing to discuss too, is that a reason I think that people hate it so much, beyond the oddities, is also that they think that this movie is extremely unviolent, that there's no gore on screen. And there isn't. But guess what? There really isn't in the original either. In the original, everybody assumes that there's a lot of violence, but it's never actually shown.
Mm-hmm.
She's put on a hook the same way.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see it like gratuitously like we would in something like Hostel.
Right.
It's just shown, and the horror in the original is so implied, and that's why it's so genius, is that the implications make you believe that you're seeing violence.
Yeah.
And the same goes with like Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock did the same thing. He made people, you don't see the knife penetrate, but you feel like you did.
Right.
And a lot of kids today see that Psycho and they go, you could see the knife's not penetrating. Yeah, because they couldn't get away with that.
Right.
And they worked around it, and they wanted to show you that less is more.
Mm-hmm.
And both Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho prove that, that less can be more. But here, I think people have become accustomed to wanting that violence. So when the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel came out, they got that. They got heavy violence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people are going to like that, and some people won't. But I like both on different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's interesting. But I'm assuming that is a big part of why people hate this movie so much. I will say that the last time we watched this movie, I remember thinking, this is awful. Like, just awful. But I think there are things about it that are growing on me like a weird, like a tumor.
Oh, God.
Just growing
that's
on me.
Terrible. You could say zit or something.
Well,
but...
zit goes away.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to say that I'm very baffled by this. I wish that there was a little bit more explanation, but I feel like, okay, if you're not going to give us the backstories that we need or any kind of logical explanation on things, then you should give us at least the gore. You know, like you have to even it out
that's
somehow.
That weird thing, yeah. I have to read you a quote from the director, because when you hear this, I don't know if it'll help any, because I feel like it's bullshit, and I don't know how to take him. Okay, so they released a documentary in '96. It was the making of this movie, and he stated he wrote the characters as exaggerated, cartoonish caricatures of quintessential American youth. He cited murder cases of serial killers Ed Gein and Elmer Wayne as influences on his involvement in the original movie. Then he said he deliberately wrote themes of female empowerment into the script. Specifically in the Jenny character, it's her story, it's about her transformation, her refusal to shut up, to be silenced, to be victimized, and by extension, her refusal to be oppressed, even by culture. Bringing Jenny into a world in which the culture was grotesquely exaggerated was a way of bringing her to see her own world more clearly. That is to say, my intent was to present a nightmarish version of Jenny's world in the form of the Chainsaw family in order to enlarge her view of her own world.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's embellished a smidge.
I do too. I can see where this movie is trying to maybe get there, but this is not. If he was going to successfully do that, then he needed to establish her abuse at home.
Right, that's the thing. He didn't set that up very well.
It's not well, it's only implied.
It's implied.
If it needed to establish that, and it needed to work upon that, and say that it's her fighting back against male oppressors, then why put in so much female victimization? Like, every other woman in this movie is being completely ripped apart.
Mm-hmm.
The girlfriend, Delilah, or I don't know, Darla, she's just being abused and being allowing of it. And I think that Zellweger is like telling her at one point, you need the, you're just so stupid that you believe it. But
Yeah.
I'm like, your character isn't any better.
She's not at all.
So it's kind of odd if that was his intent. I feel like he completely dropped the ball, although I see the seeds of what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like I get it, and I think a lot of these metaphors that we're confused by would have been metaphors about her fighting abuse.
Yeah.
It's like her
I
taking
get it.
control back with the controller.
Yeah.
her, every time she does something, she is fighting back. She is jumping out of a window. She is trying to take the gun back and hold them hostage. She is trying to do things in this movie like a lot of the other Scream Queens kind of don't, that kind of get credit. Like I talked about Jamie Lee Curtis. Like in the first Halloween, she doesn't do much to actually stop anything.
Right.
And in this movie, at least she's trying, but it's not enough. It doesn't go there enough. But I feel like all the things we're confused by can be explained by his weird explanation. But I don't know. I feel like, well, if that was your intent, you completely missed the ball, and I wish someone else was brought in to help you envision this.
Yeah, 100%. And, the whole ending of the movie it was very vague to me. I needed a little more. Like, what happened to the pilot? What happened to him? He's like just killing people and then flying off into the blue yonder?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't even know what's
strange.
going on, and you attack this guy with your wheel? You fool. I mean, you don't even call the police or do nothing. You just fly off into the sky?
Yeah, why?
It's stupid.
It's crazy.
It's stupid. Okay, now, the scores.
Yeah.
On first viewing, it was a 2.
Yeah, I fought with a 2 and a 3 the first time we watched it together.
Yes.
And as I'm watching it again, I think I might have been a little too harsh on it.
I'm thinking I was a little too harsh on it as well. I mean, it's real. It's rough.
It's rough.
It is rough.
But when I was watching it this time, I was like, it's like you're watching two actors go balls out and show you why they ever got successful.
Yes.
And you're kind of like in awe of that, what they're willing to do, even though the director, you can tell it's the actors ruling the movie, but the director is the problem of the movie itself, and the reasons why some of the acting isn't where it's supposed to be. That's on the director and the writing. But watching the actors take over the screen, take over the shots, take over the premise, kind of makes you go, okay, there's something here worthy of watching, and it is odd.
Yeah.
Do I think it is the worst Chainsaw Massacre? I don't know if it is. Because I have not enjoyed any of the newer ones, except the remake with Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel, that one I really liked. I liked that one a lot. But there was one that came out, I think it was...
The one on Netflix?
On Netflix, yeah. That was... What the hell was it?
I know, now I feel like I have to watch that one again.
That was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that was with that, the group of people in the town that... Okay.
It was like influencers coming to town, which is in itself, just saying that out loud makes me mad.
Yeah, I know. Well, I gave that one a 4. I thought it was bad, but I gave it a 4. Was at least some fucked up shit happens in it. This one, the highest I can go on it is a 3. I do think it's the worst one. It's so ridiculous. There's no rhyme or reason to most of what's happening here.
Well, you're forgetting about, like, there's another one with Alexandra Daddario, I believe. I think that's the 3D one. It's called Texas Chainsaw, I believe. That's it. There's also a prequel where they tell the story of why Leatherface became Leatherface.
That's not that one with Alexandra?
No, I don't. Maybe it is. I thought there was one called The Beginning.
Oh, Christ.
And isn't there one just called... Oh, man. I think there's a whole bunch of these. Because like I said, there's 5 movies after this one. I'm on... right now, I remember not hating the Leatherface remake, the one with... It's a prequel. I don't remember hating that, but I do remember not liking The Beginning, Texas Chainsaw, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix. I don't remember liking any of those films. And I'm still going, is this the worst? It might be the worst.
I think it might be the worst. But then again, I don't really remember. I mean, there's so many of these.
I know.
I don't remember them all.
Exactly.
So I would have to revisit. But the ones that I rated, I could tell you of the ones I rated, I'll tell you that this one's the lowest.
Yeah.
And even that's even if I give it a 3.
I actually have this one tied with the next Netflix one.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember hating the Netflix movie.
All right. So I'm just gonna I'll raise my score from a 2 to a 3, and I feel like I'm being extra generous.
Yeah,
because
I'm quote. Should I stay at a 3 or should I go to a 4? I know it's odd. There's something here, but I don't think successful. But I think it is worthy of watching just for the craziness of McConaughey.
Oh, the acting
in this movie.
Yeah, the acting 100%. Yeah. So where are you gonna place this on the list?
I'm gonna say since we're both saying 3.
Yeah.
That means it's gonna stay around the bottom, or the top, or what this one is. Our list at the top. I mean, the question always becomes, like, would you watch Leprechaun in Space or this again?
I would watch this again.
Exactly. Toxic Avenger 4.
I would watch this again.
Son of the Mask.
I would watch this again.
The Christmas Tree.
Oh, you know what? Shove the Christmas tree up your ass. I can't take it anymore.
So you'd rather watch this?
Yeah.
Okay. I know that you're going to say, would you watch Triple X State of the Union again over this?
God damn it. I'd watch Ice Cube again over this.
You would watch it?
Yes, I would.
So this is going to be number 22, taking the spot of State of the Union, pushing it back to 23, and it's going to be right after Beach Balls. Beach Balls has pretty much been the standard in how we've been.
Trash. All right. So, all right, friends. This is, it brings us to our segment of Why We Can't Have Nice Things, where I read out 2 extremes of internet reviews, a 1-star and a 10-star review, as proof that people ruin the rating system for all of us, and prove that no matter what, there is always going to be one person that fucks it up for the rest of us. And I am going to start today with a 10-star review because I want to slap this person. And I'm sorry about my violence, but damn. All right. 10 out of 10, ignore the bad rep. All the bad reviews on this are all from horror snobs who don't know how to have a good time. This is primarily a comedy and meant to be both silly and ridiculous. It's not an amazing movie, sure, but it's not a bad one either. It is definitely worth more than a measly 3 stars. I'm giving it 10 just to spite the lamos who rated it with a 1. Realistically, it's probably a 6. Also worth noting, Matthew McConaughey is hot as hell in this. Repeating again for the stupid character count minimum, Matthew McConaughey is hot as hell in this. Spicy hot. A horrible, psychotic bad boy murderer, but still hot.
Oh, that was the end of that?
Yep, that was it.
Oh.
This person.
That person likes bondage.
You know what? First of all, this person needs a slap. Okay? Why? First of all, don't ever call me a horror snob. I like horror movies. Okay? I like all types of horror movies. All of them. All different kinds of horror movies. So how dare you say all the bad reviews are from horror snobs who don't know how to have a good time? Let me tell you something, motherfucker. I know how to party, okay? I know how to have a good time. Don't tell me. And another thing, sorry, I'm getting a little upset. I don't like this review at all. I don't. Anyway, you can't give this movie a 10 out of 10 if you clearly, you yourself are saying it's a 6, realistically. So you are the person that's ruining the rating system. Okay? You are.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Damn it. I'm mad.
I'm going to add to that and say that partner in crime of that person is the San Francisco Chronicle, who gave this a perfect rating and said that a flick so terrifying and brilliant that it makes the other 2 Chainsaw sequels seem like after-school specials.
Okay.
That's a 1995 May article from the San Francisco Chronicle on this movie. That's insane.
That is insane, but can we just go back to this person for a moment? You're giving this a 10 because Matthew McConaughey is hot.
Yeah, I said bondage. I'm not knocking anybody, but that's masochism. Like, that's a person who likes, and this is the kind of person who writes pen pals to marry serial killers in jail.
Yeah.
Like, I find that hot.
That's true.
Abusive men are hot. He, like, literally crushes his girlfriend's throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, am I a horror snob? Am I, though?
I mean, this is such a debatable thing because we're always trying to talk about movies in general and not classifying not classifying movies in its own genre, right? And we're trying to rate movies accordingly to each other, right? That's what we like to do. We like to look at movies equally, but we do love genres. And as in horror, we can tell the shit from the good. And some people call it lowbrow horror, and some people call it highbrow. Some people hate the comparison of those two things. Some people hate that people even reference those things exist, but they do. I hate to say it, but there's slashers like Friday the 13th, which are just fun for watching kills and for idiotic characters, but it's not good. It's not elevated horror. I'm sorry, it's not elevated horror. It's not something that'll make your mind go, oh, I'm thinking about things differently, or my brain's working. No, it's just, I feel dumb, but I'm enjoying the dumb, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if that person's like, no, I enjoy this and I think this is the best movie ever made, then I guess we are horror snobs because we are able to see a movie and judge it accordingly.
Well, I can't be a horror snob. I like Witchboard.
You will like Witchboard, but you're able to know that it's not that great.
I mean, it's crap.
Exactly.
But I like it.
That person's not able to do that.
This person made me mad. Don't tell me we don't know how to have a good time. Okay? We do.
It's an interesting concept. It's a really interesting argument. Some people want the rating system gone, and I just can't get on board with that. I think that rating systems are interesting and good and tell you what deserves for an award or you know, and I do think awards should be handed out to things that are great. Like, you know, they're doing something, they're opening the door for new technologies and all that kind of stuff. We should appreciate that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are like knocking us down, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, it's not doing anything new.
No.
It might have had a voice that it wasn't successfully, you know, able to push to. But who's the 1 star?
Okay. 1 out of 10 cannot be described. This was truly the worst movie I have seen in my entire life. When I saw it in a video store, I said, hey, this looks fun. Dumb, but fun. I'll rent it. Some people are coming over. What the hell? I was in for the worst night of my life. This migraine-inducing mess bombarded me like hail. It was totally incoherent, and every scene was the beginning of a new movie. Worst of all, Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey were in it. I feel sorry for them. After watching this movie, the world did not make sense to me. The movie physically hurt me. I would have felt better to bang my head against a wall for 2 hours than to sit through this movie. Words cannot describe it. This movie should definitely be on the bottom of the worst movies list, and it baffles me how it was even produced and published on video. Do not even attempt to watch it. All right. Well, again, Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey are just 2 actors that literally had to get their start somewhere. Everybody got their start somewhere. And I think to say anything negative about them is rude. Like, they did their best. They did a decent job.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, stop attacking them. They went on to win Oscars. So, you know, shut up. Just shut up. But yeah, that review was like, okay, no, it's literally the worst thing you've ever sat through in your life. Like, you wanted to bang your head against a wall for 2 hours instead? Like, you just sound ridiculous.
I mean, I can understand a person seeing a movie like this and being like that. But they purposely went and rented a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel.
Right.
And if they didn't already know what they were in for regardless, it's a little sus. But I can understand that somebody would watch this and go, damn, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, and so I try to think, like, you know, not a bad movie watcher, because not everybody is like us. You know, we can sit through the worst trash of all time and think it's a hoot and a holler. But these people that just, you know, are just casual movie watchers. They will see this and be like, oh, Jesus, this is a sack of turds, you know? But us, we're like, oh, this is a sack of turds, and we know it. You know, we're here for this. We're here.
That's the whole point of doing this show, right? Is we're trying to give second chances. We're always trying to see if, you know, it is as bad as some people say. And, oddly, we are agreeing with the IMDb score. A lot of people knock these sites. Like, I hear Rotten Tomatoes takes money to maybe sway a review, which sucks. Ruins it. IMDb, though, which we use on the show to judge our movies, I would say that the algorithm of how it works, the scores, even with the 10s and the 1s being the extremes, it's evening out pretty well. It seems to find an area that is at least acceptable. And so here we are agreeing with it. The 3, which it has, is worthy. And I would say if we did the point system, I feel like it might have been a little 3-point whatever, which it has on here. So right now we're agreeing with it. Going forward, I can't wait to see how we feel.
Right. Yeah. So that's the thing. I understand the casual movie watcher. I do. I have to put myself in their shoes. They don't watch all the trash and crazy things that we watch. I mean, we will literally give everything a chance and watch any kind of movie.
And that's why we do this, right? Because we want to see what is the worst compared.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's so important to know what a terrible movie really could be. And that's why it's fun to give everything a second chance, just to see there might be something in here. Like I got called out for giving like a TV show people hate, a decent review. I go, hey, it's like 15 episodes. In 15 episodes, you're telling me there wasn't anything worthy of a 6?
Right.
Like, I doubt it. In those hours, there must have been something.
Yeah.
But people are like, what, was it technical that you liked?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was some good directing. There were some interesting things. There is a possibility. It's not the worst thing you've ever seen.
Right.
I understand with this one in particular that it is scratching that the bottom.
Yeah,
it is scratching that 1. It is not scratching that 10. But it's definitely scratching that 1.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'd rather watch more of the Adventures of Jenny than anything about Nomi ever again. Okay?
Oh, no.
Nomi can fuck right off.
Does that mean I have to say Dom?
Oh my god.
The two things we can't stand?
Dome? Let's call them Dome. Domi.
Domi.
Dom and Nomi. The worst. I don't know. I can't take it anymore. Like, I think I've become almost desensitized to the Fast and the Furious, where like it's a thing that is still happening, and it will never be gone ever until like Vin Diesel's in a wheelchair. But
no, it's coming there. It started making less money, so it's almost over. The pain is almost gone. Well,
I can't. Anyway, I got no final thoughts. I'm out.
Well, I was going to say this isn't the worst movie. Till next week when we find out what might be the worst movie ever made. Thanks for listening, and as always, we appreciate you for checking out the show. Hit us up on Instagram at Just Another Movie Night and Joe at The Crafty Misfit, and we'd love to hear your opinions. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We would love to hear anything. Just discussions about any film. Hit us up on there. And until the next one, have a good one. Bye.
All this, it's been an abomination. You really must accept my sincere apologies. It was supposed to be a spiritual experience. I can't tell you how disappointed I am. I suppose it's something we all live with. People like us who strive for something, a sense of harmony. Perhaps it's disappointment that keeps us going. La raison d'être. Unfortunately, it's never been easy for me. One of my many failings.
Fuck you.